A country has 50 million of domestic investment and net capital outflow of 80 million. Negative 80 million. What is saving? Well, in a closed economy, savings equal to investment, and an open economy, savings is equal to investment plus net capital outflow. So we'd have 50 plus minus 80. 50 plus minus 80 is the same as 50 minus 80, which would be minus 30 million. Why does this make sense? Well, there's less money flowing out than there is flowing in. There's more money flowing in. So a lot of this investment is paid by foreigners, which actually compensates for the fact that we're not saving, we're borrowing. So this 80 million that's coming from foreigners finances 50 million of our saving and 30 million of our borrowing, which is our negative saving. A Canadian firm opens a factory that produces climbing equipment in Austria. What are the effects of this transaction? Well, as this Canadian firm is opening this factory, we're not talking about the actual production of the good. Money is flowing into Austria from Canada. So Canadian net capital outflow, the money that's flowing out, actually increases, and the money flowing into the net capital outflow of Albania decreases. Some people could say, well, why does this decrease? Well, it's a net capital outflow. So even if the amount of money that flows out of Albania is the same, the actual outflow, if the inflow is greater, the outflow minus the inflow, it's going to lead to a net capital outflow decrease. Roger lives in Iceland and purchases a snowmobile manufactured in Canada. What is this purchase? Well, this snowmobile was manufactured in Canada and it was sent to Iceland. So that is a Canadian export. And out of all of these answers, only these two say that's Canadian export. And Iceland's not shipping anything out in this transaction here. Iceland is just importing the goods. So this is a Canadian export and an Icelandic import. This question here is the one that's a little bit more tricky calculation-wise. Exchange rates are 75 US cents per Canadian dollar, 170 per yen per Canadian dollar. Essentially, we're giving you a bunch of exchange rates and then saying whether the prices of beer in all of these countries, and then asking what is the most expensive beer. So to answer this question, we have to convert all of these prices back into Canadian prices. The thing that some people may make as a mistake is to say, I'm going to multiply 0.75 by 6 to obtain how much this costs in Canadian dollars for the first transaction here. Well, if you multiply 0.75 by 6, you're going to get a number that's smaller than 6, saying that it's less than 6 Canadian dollars to get a beer in the States, when in fact this is false. If you look at it correctly, Canadian dollar gets you less than the American dollar, so the American dollar is worth more. It's the same as saying that 1 American dollar will get you 1.33 Canadian dollars. So based on this, you need to do 6 divided by 0.75 and not multiplied by 0.75. And that will give you 8 Canadian dollars. Does this make sense if you calculate it out and get 8? Well, for 8 Canadian dollars, how many US dollars will you obtain? Well, 8 times 0.75 or 8 times 3/4 is going to be 6. And with 6 US dollars, you get a beer. So for 8 Canadian dollars, 6 US dollars, you get a beer. You do the same thing with the other two countries and go through that same division process, and you'll obtain that this, and Tokyo it's 7.05 Canadian dollars, and Munich 8.75, and in Mexico $5. So the most expensive of all three is in Munich. Martin, a Canadian citizen, uses some previously obtained Lithuanian currencies to purchase a bond by a Lithuanian company. How does this transaction affect Canadian net capital outflow? So the thing that you have to note from this is he already had this currency. He already had this country's money. So he's not going through foreign exchange to try to obtain more money and that there's money flowing out. This money had already flown out. And he just made a purchase with it. It's as if you had extra euros hanging around and you decide to go to Europe and you make a purchase Well, you could have made that purchase a while back. You already had access to that capital. So it is not a net capital outflow. This transaction does not change net Canadian outflow. There's no more money flowing out. It has already flown out. So that answers the questions to Chapter 12. Hopefully that clarifies any questions you may have.